Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Just want to remind the students that Wednesday night, which will be tomorrow night, okay, when that comes around, instead of watching youth group at home, this is going to be our first Wednesday where we're going to meet together on Zoom. We're going to try to get the whole group together and we'll just see how it goes. So watch for the links and the instructions in your email that will be coming today and Wednesday. So just be looking for that and looking forward to getting together with everyone tomorrow night as well as our small groups meeting together. So here we are. It's Tuesday, and we just had Easter weekend. We celebrated Resurrection Day, that Jesus is alive, and what a great celebration it was. A great day of Easter. And we looked at the gospel accounts of Jesus's crucifixion and resurrection. And something we see in each of those accounts is that the women went to the tomb on Sunday morning to anoint Jesus's body. This is something they weren't able to do on Friday night when the crucifixion occurred because of the Sabbath starting that evening. So they come to see Jesus on Sunday morning to anoint his body, arriving at the tomb, expecting to see a huge stone in front of the tomb and them unable to move it. But instead, they see the stone is moved, and they see an open tomb. Instead of concealing death, it had released life. And you read in the account that the women encounter the angels who say, "Go and tell Jesus' disciples that he is alive and that they will see him in Galilee." And in John's account, you see Mary actually spoke to Jesus, and Jesus tells her the same thing, to go and tell my disciples that I am alive and that they will see me. And the account says that Mary went, and when she got to the disciples, she said, "I have seen the Lord." Oh man, just can you imagine that? Being able to proclaim to the disciples, "I have seen Jesus. He is alive." And how exciting that is. And that very command is what should compel us. You see, they came to Jesus to see him. So it was like, come and see and go and tell. And so they came to see Jesus, and then they were told, "Go and tell that he is alive." And that is exactly what we are to do. This should be what motivates us, what guides us, what propels us, even what challenges us in our faith to go and tell others about Jesus and that he is alive. In Mark 10:45, it states this: "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many." And the same thing with us, especially in these times that we're in right now, that we cannot be silent. We need to tell others about Jesus. We need to care for them. We need to be Jesus for them, and we need to be sharing the gospel and to tell others what Jesus has done for us. Back in 1527, the bubonic plague was ravaging Europe. This was an awful, deadly plague that killed 50 million people, which was like 60% of Europe died from this plague. And so it had reached Wittenberg, which was Martin Luther's hometown. And Martin Luther gets this letter from a friend saying, "Well, what do we do in this time of this plague and everything that's taking place? And do we flee? Do we run? What do we do in these very complicated times?" And so Martin Luther responded with this. This is what he said. He said, "I shall ask God mercifully to protect us. Then I shall fumigate, help purify the air, administer medicine, and take it. I shall avoid places where my presence is not needed." Thus, he was invoking social distancing before it was even a term. "I shall avoid places and persons where my presence is not needed, in order not to become contaminated, and thus, perchance, inflict and pollute others, and so cause their death as a result of my negligence." So in other words, he's saying, I'm not going to get out and possibly get this and then cause someone else to get it and cause their death. If God should wish to take me, he will surely find me, and I have done what he has expected of me. And so I am not responsible of either my own death or the death of others. If my neighbor needs me, however, I shall not avoid place or person, but will go freely as stated above. And so he's honoring the guidelines that were in place by the government, but he's willing to go and he's willing to serve. See, this is such a God-fearing faith because it is neither brash nor foolhardy and does not tempt God. So I encourage you today, share the gospel. Be creative in how you do this. Find ways to communicate, maybe in ways we haven't used before or thought of before. But don't let the COVID-19 virus be a reason or excuse for you not going forward and not communicating the truth of Jesus Christ, that he is alive and that he saved you from sin and the wrath of God. Have a great week, and we will see you Wednesday night on Zoom.